Hello and welcome to Merlins Brick News, the weekly show on all things brick building, where we talk about set updates and announcements from all the major brands, mocks of the week, new LEGO ideas, entries, and general industry news from time to time as well. Information is presented as always by setdb.org, the best source for set information on the internet. Let's get started as always with BlueBrixx. Same exercise every week, and here we have actually a couple of very cool announcements from my point of view. BlueBrixx has started to throw out the announcements for the next wave of Star Trek sets. So they are going to start with all the very small models. I think they call them like micro models or something. We are talking about sets in the 200, 250 pieces a pop ballpark, and here we have actually right now 6 sets that they have announced that also give us a glimpse around like what kind of areas they want to focus on in the next wave. So I have very high hopes that some of these models or some of these factions we are also going to see in the mid-size and large or display size models. Anyhow, let's get started. So first thing is the 105446, the Ferengi Dakora Marauder, 208 pieces. As always, when BlueBrixx is announcing, they do not give us prices yet. For that, we have to wait until the sets are available. And yeah, we have a Ferengi Starship, next generation, I guess. And yeah, it's looking pretty cool, actually. I'm a bit surprised. I mean, not surprised. It was actually, I was also guessing like, okay, if they ever bring a Ferengi, what is going to be the main color? And they have decided to go with dark orange, which I think is not a bad choice. Medium Nougat may have been the better one in my personal point of view, like the better fitting one, but this one definitely looks very cool. And yeah, I mean, it's a Ferengi Starship, and I think it looks pretty good, actually. I would not have thought that they could pull it off just with a couple of bricks with 200 pieces. However, let's see how this one is going to look. I think these round curves, especially in the back of the Ferengi ship, could be a challenge in larger models to get right. But anyhow, let's see. I'm so looking forward to this one. Quite interesting is also the stand. Usually the stand, or I guess in this case as well, the stand is used basically to have the factions or the races main signature, if you will. And I had actually no idea how this would look like for the Ferengi. And here we go. It's actually a green and black stand. Looks quite nice, and for whatever reason my picture here is not working. And yeah, I think it's a pretty well done design. Then we have as well the 105445, the NCC 1701E, an Enterprise E. And I think they have done a mid-size model in the last wave, which I actually like quite a lot. And now we have also these the small scale here. It has 207 pieces. I would almost bet everything that we also will see a display size Enterprise E. It's a very popular ship, right? First Contact is, I guess, the most popular movie out of the Star Trek series, at least from the Next Generation movies. And yeah, I think it's beloved by a lot of fans. And as a result, I'm pretty sure we are going to see this one in larger sizes as well. And then we have the Farragut. I guess that's how it's pronounced. I just can't recall. We are talking about the NCC 6597 USS Farragut. BlueBrixx has here the 105444. It has 224 pieces. And I must say, pretty well done model again. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? They just use so few pieces, and even if you look at this close up, like I have this picture here right now, it looks pretty good. I'm actually quite happy with this one. It's very well done. I guess the Farragut is not well, the most well-known ship, but I think it's a nice model for all the collectors out there. And then we have again an Enterprise. I mean, how could it be different? We are talking about the 1701C, NCC 1701C, and from BlueBrixx that's the 105443. And for whatever reason my browser is going a bit nuts here. Let's try this again. Just loading pictures like forever. Here we go. There we have a picture, and it's also, I would say, quite well done. I was saying the Farragut, from my point of view, looks better. The Enterprise E, and I mean, it's the weak point a bit, if you will, my personal taste. Especially if you look here at the section, the front section, it's just 2 layers of plates mostly, and that is pretty thin. So from my point of view, not not a hit like the other ones, but nevertheless, I mean, come on, it's just 163 pieces. That's ridiculous, and I guess half of it is in the stand. However, we also have a marquee radar, the Valjean, I guess it's pronounced, the 105442. I guess that's the one from Star Trek Voyager, from the pilot movie, and it has 206 pieces. And yeah, it's a marquee radar. I mean, yeah, I think this one is tough to do with only so few pieces. But nevertheless, because it is an aerodynamic ship, right? And I think, yes, that's a bit harder to do. Yeah, it's from Star Trek Voyager. And however, I'm pretty sure they will do a larger one. I'm not even sure, actually, I've not looked up how large a marquee radar is. I think they are pretty small. So like a runabout, I guess. That's at least would be my guess. So in this case, if I am not mistaken, they could do this thing even a minifigure scale, but I guess it's larger. But I guess it's somewhere between the Defiant and the Runabout, right? Anyhow, let's move on to another ship and another interesting color a lot of folks have been waiting for, and that is the first Dominion ship, the Jem'Hadar attack ship, the 105441, 251 pieces, and they have decided to go with dark bluish gray. That, I think, for me personally was a big question. Dark bluish gray, a deep purple tone, a pink tone for the warp drives, a trans pink tone, and it looks pretty cool. I think dark bluish gray is a badass color for a starship, and I think that the Dominion is getting this color makes a ton of sense. I think it was a good choice, but yeah, it makes the Beetle look badass. The stand is also interesting because I guess this is also somehow representing the Dominion. Looks a bit like a Borg ship, but I actually had no idea, again, Dominion, like what the logo is going to be. But here we go. It's a black stand. It looks very science fiction like. So I do like it. I like the ship, like the form. But most and foremost the color. And of course, hey, we got Dominion, we got Ferengi, and we got Marquis Raider. And this is actually my hope, long story short, that we will see these factions also in the larger models going forward. Let's see. I do hope to get some news here, maybe next week, maybe the week after. Let's move on. We also have availability from BlueBrixx. We have from the Quantum Colony series. That's like the, I guess, hard fantasy is the right call here. Series that BlueBrixx has started to bring out, designed by Kai W. 788 pieces, and I do not have. Why don't I have a button here? I don't know. I have to double check. BlueBrixx is asking over here in Europe for 35 euros. That includes tax, of course, shipping cost in addition, depending on where you live. And yeah, it's Quantum Colony. I do like this series. This kind of science fiction is not really my cup of tea. I'm more the Star Trek, Star Wars kind of guy, but nevertheless, here you go. And then we have availability of one of, I think it's the last out of the tiny, small helmet collection BlueBrixx has announced, and we are talking about the 105133. That's the Spartan helmet. To my knowledge, this entire thing is done in pearl gold. I think when the original announcement came out, it was not. BlueBrixx then decided to change this a little bit, and over here in Europe, they are asking for 28 euros. That's 5.2 cents a piece. 538 pieces. So after the Gladiator helmet and the Roman, I guess, Legionnaire helmet, I guess, or was that like a Centurion and not a Legionnaire? I'm not sure. They call it just a Roman helmet. Here we go with the Spartan helmet, which I actually like, and I do love the color pearl gold. Then we have, let me just double check, maybe, yes, we have announcements or availabilities over here in Europe at least for the Cobi M1A2 SEP V3 Abrams tank, main battle tank 2623. That's a 1/35 scale model. It's kind of funny that availability of an Abrams main battle tank comes first over here in Europe, but that's just the way it is. We have the big benefit that Cobi is a European manufacturer. I do hope that you will get this overseas in the States, etc. pretty soon as well. It looks quite nice, I must say. I mean, Cobi with all the prints. I guess this here is a Polish version, I guess, based on the number plate. But it looks really, really cool. Very well done model, Cobi, I must say. And it looks like, yeah, you can open it up in the back to look at the engine. That's cool. Okay, and you have ammunition, etc. So it's a very detailed model, I must say. Yeah, I guess it's the new pinnacle of Cobi's 1-35 tank designs. And then we have an F4U4 Corsair. That is, I think, from the Korean War series of Cobi, the 2417. Again, availabilities over here in Europe, starting from 38 euros for these 520 pieces. That is a 1:32 scale airplane, and it's very well done. I mean, it's Korean time, so Korean war time, so it has all the rockets, additional tanks, etc. There's a lot of clutter and stuff. I'm not sure if I really like that. Yeah, I guess you can easily remove it if that is maybe also a bit too much for you as well, and you would rather prefer to focus on the airplane itself. It's a Navy airplane, and yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting positions for sure to put this thing in the right way you want to look at it. That is that availability of Cobi, but there's also a sneak peek or announcement on Cobi's Instagram that I found, which I was really looking forward to. They are moving into steam locomotives, and they want to start with the BR52. I think they have done, I guess it was a cooperation with a museum, I think in Norway, where they already did a locomotive like a couple of months ago, but this is the first general available set that they are currently working on. No release date yet. It's going to be scale 1-35, and it's going to be a BR52. That is a very well-known locomotive over here in Europe. It was actually built during the Nazi Germany area, most and foremost. So it was designed and optimized for the war times, i.e. a lot less material and a lot less pieces were needed to build it. I think during the Nazi era, during the war times, they built like almost 7,000 of these bad boys. Quite astonishing, actually. I think at the end they were at like 50 of those per day. But even after the war, it was built a lot. A lot of countries over here in Europe used them. They were used in the Soviet Union, up to Turkey, France, and of course a lot in Germany, Austria, etc., etc. I think it was used in Turkey until 1990, and in Eastern Germany until 1988, basically until the end of Cold War. So quite a long living time, and like I said, it was also very important for building or rebuilding Europe after the war. Long story short, Cobi wants to build this model, 1-35 in scale. I guess it will have quite a lot of pieces. I guess it cannot be motorized. My assumption is that this thing is also not, if you look at the amount of axles and everything and the way it is built, I don't even think that it's designed for actually a run on a track, but it's a pure display model. Pure speculation at this point in time, but this is my guess, that Cobi goes here for a display model and not for something that you can actually run on a track. Anyhow, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I have high hopes and a lot of plans to put this thing on my desk, the same way as I do for the Lego Star Wars TIE Bomber 75347, 625 pieces, and Lego's asking for $65 US. I'm really looking forward to this one. We had already a couple of reviews. BrickWiz has received one, SolidBrick Studios, and I think a few others as well. And yeah, it's a TIE Bomber. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's very well done. It has only pad printed pieces. There are no stickers in this set, to my knowledge, which is good news, great news, I must say. It has a good and decent size. I think you can put a minifigure inside. You have this bomb mechanism, which is great. And you have also, I think, well, a mediocre, I would say, minifigure selection. So there's a TIE Bomber pilot. That is great. A very well done minifigure. And there's also Vice Admiral Sloan, which I think is the first time. Her trousers are not, her legs are not printed, but I guess that's quite normal with these officer uniforms of the Empire. But we also have a Darth Vader in there, and I think I've said this many times before, I'm not a big fan of that. Like, okay, we have 1 million Darth Vaders at this point in time, and I guess 2 million Luke Skywalkers, so from my point of view, not really needed. You can't use it for army building. And I guess this is a set, right? If you have, I don't know, if you're planning for a large display, you might buy 5 or 6 of these bad boys, but then you get 5 or 6 Darth Vaders. You can sell them, okay, and it's a very well done Darth Vader, I should mention. It has arm prints. Hip is printed, legs are printed, so it's a well done Darth Vader for sure. There have been a lot of more ugly ones, but nevertheless, not 1% sure. The Gong Droid has this print as well. I guess that's the like the box that we also had in the Cantina. So it's great to have this one here, but also some other cool printed pieces in the sets as well. And of course, it is part of 40 years of Return to the Jedi. Return of the Jedi. Did I say to the Jedi? That's interesting. Return of the Jedi. I'm not even sure. Did we have any bombers in Return of the Jedi? From my point of view, this would have been a better fit in episode 5, wouldn't it? You know, where they had these bombers hunting the Millennium Falcon. But anyhow, I'm not going to complain. Awesome piece. Really looking forward to this one. And then we have the new battle pack. In the new battle pack, $20 price range, which is quite a lot, but it is the 501st again, which is cool. I mean, it's not technically again, right? The last set we had was technically not a battle pack. Everybody called it that, but this one actually is. And there is a cannon, which I do like. Not bad, not too shabby. And if you look at the minifigures, we have two 501st heavy troopers, we have a 501st officer, and we have a clone specialist. We have these visors, which I really think are really cool, and we have very well done minifigures. At least the officer has also the hip printed, the others not, but at least, yeah, regular, let's say 501st clone troopers, almost slightly different prints, which is cool. Nevertheless, I'm not sure if I do like these specialists and heavy troopers in a battle pack style, because how many of these are you going to need, right? More regular troopers is, I guess, what you would want to see in a battle pack. At least I want. Plus, we had the 501st already, so I don't know. On the other hand, you know, you can never have enough clones. So from my point of view, this is great news, and I do like this set. I also like the cannon. Cannon, well done from my point of view. I mean, of course, it is a bit tiny, but yeah, it's a battle pack, so that's okay. Decent coloring in the pieces. Yes, there is a shooter, which I guess if you buy 20 of these, you won't need these. But at the end of the day, you know, what can you do? I mean, we use it for army building, but technically it's designed for kids, so obviously this thing needs to shoot. But long story short, 4 amazing minifigures. Really looking forward to this one. Oh my god, these dudes look cool. Anyhow, let's move on to the microfighter of the year, or the one that Lego is using for the start. It's Boba Fett Starship, the 75344. By the way, I forgot the numbers of the previous 2 sets. 501st Battle Pack is 75345, and the TIE Bomber is 75347. I'm actually a bit in the wrong order here. What happened to 75346? I have to look this up. That is actually quite interesting. Do we have a 6? No. They skipped the 6. Interesting. Let's see what this is going to be. Haven't thought about that before. Anyhow, let's move back to the microfighter. Yeah, it's Boba Fett Starship. I think it's actually a microfighter scale. It is a decent, you know, it is a decent Slave 1. I must say. It looks rather cool. Has a couple of cool pieces in it. I do like it. It's a nice ship. And then we have, of course, Boba Fett's minifigure. I mean, next to the microfighters themselves, which I think are a cool collectible item. I really do like them. They are, of course, for many people also source to buy cool minifigures. And here we have Boba Fett. I'm not a big fan of that minifigure, I must say. The prints are amazing. The problem is that the molded pieces do not fit to the print. I don't know why Lego has been doing it, but these sand green pieces do not fit Boba Fett with these prints. The prints are correct, right? His new armor in Book of Boba Fett is dark green, so that's all cool. And they have also a little bit of dark green in the helmet, but not enough. That's a bit unfortunate. Of course, the visor print, a lot of people complain about that. It's a bit big, bit heavy, the black part. Okay, I can forgive that, but what I really don't like, and I can live with the jetpack if I have to, because I could just throw it off and give him a cloak instead, for instance. But I really don't like the helmet. Lego, please fix the helmet. But okay, for those of you who want to have a Boba Fett, I guess it's also a great present for kids, because, you know, everybody loves Boba Fett. Anyhow, let's move on to the new modular building of the year 2023. We are talking about the 10312, the Lego Icons Jazz Club 200 1,899 pieces. Lego is asking for $230 US. That is basically like the boutique hotel after Lego raised the prices. I think when the boutique hotel came out a year ago, it was $200, at least over here in Europe, if I recall correctly. So anyhow, so I think this one fits into the new price scheme, which is okay. It's not another, let's say, hidden race in there. Yes, it has a few pieces less compared to the boutique hotel, but to my knowledge, it has one additional minifigure. So I guess that is okay. It has a lot of prints in there. I guess the boutique hotel did not need many prints. If I recall correctly, on the outside, we had only one print, right? The sign above the door, and here we have multiple prints. We have the jazz club print, which is amazing. Live music all night, 2 prints again. All of these are 2x6 tiles, so 4 of these bad boys, pretty amazing. And then we have also these jazz concert, I guess, every music, live music sign, and then we have this Taylor sign. So there's a ton of cool prints in there that we haven't seen before, and I'm easily willing always to pay a bit more for a good lineup of prints. Hello, Cobi. But anyhow, let's move on to the jazz club. I personally must say I do like it. I do like the color scheme, dark red, the azure looks great together. I'm not so sure if I do like the entire, let's say, shape of the, let's say the building techniques that they use around the windows. It looks a bit too simple for my taste, but maybe I'm just ruined after the amazing boutique hotel, which had these amazing forms on the facade, and this one here looks a bit more rough, I must say, a bit simple. But nevertheless, I do like, of course, that they have here 2 buildings in one. That is something that Lego has done before, right? Several times. Like we had this in the police station. The boutique hotel had this. That's like typical bookstore had this. We don't even have to talk about them in the plaza, but I think that is typical Lego modular design. I do really like it. Usually the only thing that I don't like about Lego modulars, and we'll come to that in a second, is of course only in every floor starting from the first you will have studs on the floor. This is not a tiled floor, and this is to this day something that I really think a lot of other companies are doing a much better job than Lego here. But in general, it's very lovely. The entire design looks so amazing. You can actually not split the building. As far as I can tell, the 2 parts of the building are on one regular 32x32 base plate. So it's like just a single building. But nevertheless, I really do like it. And oh my God, look at this beautiful site. And if you look at it like this, I mean, I must say, I'm a fan of this. I think it's a great design. If I look at them from here, I must say it comes definitely in my world, my view, after the boutique hotel, but I think it's definitely up to the police station, and from my point of view, better than the bookstore. This is how I would put it. But yeah, great design. Looking forward to build it. Let's move on to Harry Potter, and here we have the March wave. Already a couple of announcements. Not just a couple, actually, it's quite a few. Let's start with the 76420 Harry Potter Tri-Wizard Tournament, the Black Lake. 349 pieces. I mean, yeah, this is a very well-known scene from the movie, and I guess, yes, as always, Lego is going a bit after the movie here. And I think it's really cool how Hermione, for instance, is done here. Love the face prints, amazing, because they are sleeping them, right? There's a spell on them. Really like how they did it with these, I don't even know how these it's not a rigid hose. I don't know how these are called, these strong rubber thingies that they use to put some tension on the chains, right? Because obviously the body wants to float up, and I'm really curious if it looks that cool in reality. But at least on this picture, and usually Lego is quite honest with their pictures, it looks amazing, right? You have tensions on the chain and they look sleeping, and it's just amazing. The only thing that I would have liked here, if you look at the mermaid, what the water is doing with the hair, I would have loved to see something like this, at least with Hermione, maybe with Ron as well. Anyhow, very well done. I mean, it's a tiny set, but also if you look at the top half, Looks quite nice as well. Sand green is always a great idea. So I think it's a cool set. And yeah, you have Victor in there, Harry, of course, Ron and Hermione. And then you have, what are these things called? Mer person? Okay, a person that lives in the Mer, in the Meer, in the sea. Anyhow, looks amazing. And then, of course, there is this nice addition, and very important on the package. Model does not float. Very important to know that. Anyhow, I do like it. Like the shark thing as well. Right? You can put a shark on this dude. Oh, that is amazing. That is actually, I've missed that before. This is just so cool. Okay. Love this set already. That is amazing. Victor is really, really cool here. Anyhow, let's move on to the house banners. So this is a new set. I mean, it's a little bit like the books that they had before, right? Basically, I mean, this thing I think is most and foremost designed to be put on a wall. It's not like a travel case like the books were, but in general, I would say they are comparable. So let's get started. So we have 4 house banner sets, of course. This one is Slytherin. It's a 76410, 349 pieces. Lego is asking for 35 bucks. That's 10 cents a piece. Obviously, you have 3 minifigures in there. Slytherin, and yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure if I look all this. I guess these are stickers, or maybe it looks a bit like cloth, right? It is cool, I must say. I mean, I do like it. I'm not sure if I would pay 35 bucks for it. What I do really regret is that if you look at this Nexonite shield here on the left, I mean, you have, right, the banner, the house banner, the house logo, weapon, whatever you call it. You have it on top, but it's a sticker. I mean, how amazing would these Nexonite shields would have been, you know, being pet printed. What a lost chance. But anyhow, yeah, they call them 3D images, the thing that they put in the inside. Looking forward to this one. It seems that the house logo itself here on the outside looks like pet printed, which would be cool. But to be honest, I would have preferred to have these Nexonite shields, because these I could have used in so many contexts, right? Absolutely amazing. And when you put them back together, you have these nice house logos that you can put on your wall. Oh my God, the English language is complicated. My apologies. So let's move on. Let's go briefly through all of them. The 76411 is then the Ravenclaw house banner, which is really, really cool. 35 bucks, basically the same thing. 3 minifigures again, too many stickers for my taste. But of course, Ravenclaw is really, really cool. And my personal favorite, Hufflepuff. There's just not enough Hufflepuff sets from Lego. If you ask me, the 76412, 313 pieces, 35 bucks. And isn't that cool? I mean, right, they're eating cupcakes like crazy, and they have their plants and everything. And the color scheme is just amazing. Love my Hufflepuff. But again, Nexonite shield. I mean, this one here looks. Oh no, it's no. Don't have hopes. It is a sticker, which is so unfortunate. Anyhow, love my Hufflepuff. And here we have Gryffindor, the 76409, 285 pieces, 35 bucks, 3 minifigures, and yeah, there's of course Harry in there. I guess that's Harry, right? Oh, the chessboard. Oh, as a print again, this would have been beautiful. But here we go. This is the last of the 4 house banners, are they called. And then we have another extension for Hogwarts. In this case, it's the Room of Requirement, the 76413, 587 pieces, 50 bucks. Not 100% sure if I understood this. I mean, I haven't seen the movie in quite a while. But yeah, you have this fire beast in there. You have folks flying around. You have all the books going nuts. I think I remember this scene. But I don't have it in front of my inner eye right now. But yeah, there was a lot of fire involved, a lot of people flying around, saving each other, stuff like that. If I recall correctly, the important thing, I guess, is that you get, again, here an extension for Actually, I think they do not have a picture how it will look like, because it almost looks like it's a set on its own, but of course all the Technic pin capabilities are there so that you can put it on your Hogwarts. I guess that makes it another extension for this large castle. I think Lego is really getting somewhere. I think a lot of people were very frustrated when they switched, if you will, with the 20-year anniversary, again, the Hogwarts approach. But I mean, this one has smaller, but definitely more sets at this point in time. I guess that's also a way for Lego to make more money, isn't it? Anyhow, let's move on to Mould King. And here we have the next wave of 8-stud cars recently got available in China. As always, prices, I guess, are usually including shipping to Central Europe. So depending, of course, where you live and taxes and all this kind of stuff, prices may vary. Long story short, we are having here the 27028. They call it the EHS9. I translated with sports car. That's actually wrong. It's an SUV, isn't it? But there's also, there's also sport in SUV. So I guess it's cool. 436 pieces. And in China, you pay right now $22. That's 5 cents a piece. And yeah, I just don't like SUVs in the 8-stud format. I think it's not a beautiful car, to be honest. But as always, it comes with a display box. And I had a couple of these cars already on my table. And the display boxes are really, really nice. Very well done, Mould King, I must say. So I guess that's also a bonus. And then we have the RR sports car. I should mention, of course, Mould King usually does not work with car companies. I think they never have. So obviously, I guess all of them are clearly referring to cars that actually exist. And the name gives a couple of hints, but technically, and they cannot put like a Rolls Royce on top of this thing. So anyhow, 474 pieces, the 27029, the RR sports car in the US, or not in the US, US dollars, 2230. And then we have the Wind Racers car. I think this is what I got from my partner, from Bawir in this case, because and there's actually no name on the box. It's quite interesting. Model S, no, this is all just the series. There's no name. Anyhow, we're talking about the 27030, 374 pieces. And I think all the petrol heads out there know exactly what car this is. Has a display box again, as always, for slightly more than $20. And I guess that also explains why these sets are a bit more on the expensive sides. I mean, almost like Lego pricing, but you get a display box. I think that's a big benefit. And then finally, the GTR the 27031, $19 only. And here we go. That's the first one. I don't know how many does Mould King have nowadays from these. This is like really a lot. Let's do a quick check. So we're having 25 8-stud cars nowadays from Mould King. I've actually built most of these, basically all the in quotes initial D cars. I've built all of them, but yeah, Mould King has done quite a lot of these. Okay, this is just only the display boxes, but yeah, a lot of beautiful cars. Here we go. So let's move on to Fantasy. And here we have the Popeye Treasure Hunt Steamship, a BMOS. I have no idea how many pieces there are, but I can tell you it's 57 centimeters in length, 48 in height, and 20 something in width. It is a gigantic set. And yeah, of course, from Fantasy, it's licensed. And yeah, it's a beauty, right? If you're a Popeye fan, this is the way to go. I think they have done an amazing job with the tobacco. Oh, it's just canned spinach. You have in here, of course, I actually don't know, I've built it, but I would assume, knowing Fantasy and having built many Fantasy sets, it's all pet printed. And it's just so amazing. What a beauty. Of course, only if Popeye is your cup of tea, but you have to pay. Fantasy is asking for $250 US. You can get it from other shops like BlueBrixx without box for $189, but it is quite an expensive piece, but I do like it. Very well done, nice design. And then we have a couple of other sets from Reobrix. We have a technical set, the telescopic arm forklift 22020. And yeah, it has 2,260 pieces. I think there's no motor or anything like this included. It is 51 centimeters in length, 21 in width, I think, yes, and 34.5 in height. I guess that is if the arm lift is fully extended. And yeah, it is a large Technic BMOS, and I do really like it. The optic is quite nice. However, I've never built Reobrix Technic, so I can't say how good the quality of the pieces are. Then we have 2 announcements from BlueBrixx that they will get 2 Sembo sports cars. Again, big Sembo Technic sets. There's so many of these, unbelievable. I have the feeling like almost every week we are talking about a Sembo Technic set. Anyhow, we are talking about the 701032, 1275 pieces. It is 1x14 scale. This piece is with just these few pieces. It is 34 centimeters in length, 18 in width, and 9 in height. I mean, it's almost as wide as it is long. It is a true sports car. Love the color, right? It looks like a Lamborghini. You can tell me whatever you want. Obviously, Sembo is not calling it that. Don't have a license. That's okay. And then we have the sports car in blue and white. By the way, these are just names, right? I mean, it's hard for us to translate from Chinese. So especially BlueBrixx, they just give the sets when they get them into shop. These fancy names like sports car in blue. Anyhow, we're talking about the 106562. That thing has 1,857 pieces. It is scale 1x10, so slightly bigger, 45 centimeters in length, 21.5 in width, and 12.5 in height. Again, we don't know prices, but what we do know, by the way, that is also true for the previous car. There is, of course, RC. It is RC controlled. It has a motor inside. Usually, I don't have it here on the picture, but with most Chinese brands, I usually get a decent remote control plus a mobile phone app, which I quite like because the whole Lego strategy of having just a mobile phone is not really my thing. Anyhow, that was new and updated sets for this week. Let's move on to MOCs of the week. And here we have, I think, 5 or 6 this week. First, let's get started. By the way, MOCs of the week, that's my new category that I introduced into the news show a couple of weeks ago. I would just look at Rebrickable, exclusively actually at Rebrickable, and just look like what has been uploaded in the last couple of days, usually the last week. And then I pick 4 or 5 that I think are interesting and I want to talk about them. Very often, of course, I also try to bring in new designers that I haven't talked about before. It's just interesting sets. It's not like a ranking like the best, whatever that means, right? It's MOCs. They are all cool. They are all amazing. But I just pick a few that I like to talk about. Anyhow, let's talk about the Lion Knights tournament by BlueBrixx. Amazing design, 1,882 pieces. He's asking just for €5, which is not much, and I really like it. Obviously, it's an extension. It's designed as an extension for the Lion's Castle. It uses very similar design elements, right? If you look at the roof, for instance, and of course, with a nice fancy castle, you have all these cool knights. You need a tournament. I don't know if there are enough like lances to have a decent tournament. I can't recall. I built the castle, but can't recall. Anyhow, I guess some of you have this in your castle collection so that you can have a decent tournament. Anyhow, really like the design. I mean, there's a big feast as well. There's a lot of meat involved. There's beer involved. I mean, what can go wrong? And of course, you have like this nice cozy place for all, I guess, his lordship and her lordship, something like that. And then the peasants, of course, can cheer on as well. It's going to be amazing. And then we have another MOC that I actually have built. That's actually, if you look here, that is a video. There's a video here that I did. It's actually in German, so won't help you much. But we are talking about a Ranker Pit extension. So the Ranker Pit is an alternative alternate build. Let's scroll down here, of the medieval castle. So what the designer has done here is created basically, I mean, there was a rancor pit set like in the old days, and basically out of the medieval castle you could build a rancor pit for Boba Fett's throne room, and you can see this here, which is really amazing. And so what he has done now with the new microfighter Boba Fett announcement that I just talked about previously, just use additional parts that were like over from the alternate build of the castle, and now you have a landing platform or a parking lot, whatever you might call it, for the microfighter. And he is giving this extension to his previous MOC away for free. And quite frankly, this looks amazing, and I think is very good use of the medieval castle. You can still keep all the knights and the minifigures and stuff, and have another amazing build out of this one. Anyhow, let's move on. Then I think this is a designer I talked about before, Christ Romans, I guess that's how it's going to be pronounced. Amazing mini sets. Like, I mean, he is strong in the current trend in the MOC scene to build these like micro models, and he got busy and already built one for the 10-312 Jazz Club I just talked about previously. For 392 parts, you get the entire beauty. And I mean, these things look just so amazing. I mean, look at this. This is basically the picture that Lego put out, right? That I showed you previously. It's the same modulars. And quite frankly, it is impressive. It is so impressive. I mean, you can build with this series. You can build, I mean, look at Christ Romans portfolio, right? Like he has a Harry Potter collection. He has so many modulars. Maybe he has even all of them. Ghostbusters, Home Alone. They are all there. A mini modular of the Lego store from the Brickling designer program is there. It's just so amazing. I mean, you could build your entire room full of these tiny, beautiful MOCs, and I do love them. And to be honest, I would be highly interested. Also, look at this one here. I mean, this is so cool. It's the big, all three Ninjago city sets, which are, if you don't have them already, at least the two old ones, it's impossible. These things are so expensive. And here you go. I mean, for you, like me, for instance, we are living with entire family in a condo, so I don't have much space. Amazing. Anyhow, let's move on to again, a free of charge MOC by MOC Scout. I think he has done that before, and here the idea is finally to get a decent pyramid. I mean, we have seen other MOCs like this before, including MOCs that could almost do a complete pyramid out of a single set. This is an alternate build out of two sets, and at least over here in Europe, we had already a couple of pretty amazing discounts on this one, so you could almost, I mean, not really, but almost buy two for the original price. I know, don't be envious, but that is something that we have in Europe quite often. But anyhow, you can just throw in two of these and you get a pretty nice pyramid, I must say. I mean, this entire thing looks just more complete. It looks like what the pyramid should have been in the beginning. Amazing concept. He has also done a video on this. Actually, MOC Scout is a YouTuber over here in Germany. And yeah, I love the idea. Slightly, how many do you need? 2,926 pieces. I guess that's just, twice more or less. So I think he uses all of the pieces, which is amazing. Free of charge design. Love it. And then we can come to, I think personally, one of the most beautiful modular designs I've ever seen. The Balcony of Juliet from Romeo and Juliet. Of course, that's Shakespeare from Fantasy, I guess. $20, that's quite a lot actually. But I think it's all worth it because this thing is just a beauty. I mean, this is how a modular needs to look like. Love the design, Italian design, architecture design. And it's very well done, highly detailed. And of course, it's a very famous scene, but you need to collect the 3,738 pieces, which is quite a lot. So there's a lot of money and a lot of effort to be invested and to be spent. And then last but not least, we are talking about the Ferrari Daytona SP3 from TLG. It's that car. It's a Ferrari Daytona. It's amazing, I think. And I think he even put in here a picture how it would look like entirely without stickers. I mean, the Ferrari logo as a sticker from a speed champion would be a nice boon, but I think it looks rather beautiful as well. Small model, fast car. For all the petrolheads out there, here you go. So let's move on to Lego ideas. And here we're talking about new designs that have backed by 10,000 supporters. I should mention, if you recall last week, I somehow lost the links here in my linked list during preparation. So these two are actually not that new. I should have talked about them last week. Anyhow, by Givot, we have the Clock Tower Park. So who knows that designer? She has been, from my point of view, been responsible for some of the most beautiful designs in recent months on Lego Ideas. I think she has not started that long ago, but all of her designs are just amazing. So I do recommend take a look at it. But this one here now is the Clock Tower Park, and again, she is really killing it. I mean, this thing is just a beauty. All in all, everything is just great. The road is perfect. The trees are amazing. The fountain is great. The tower itself, and it's even slightly angled, which is not easy to do. I mean, I have no idea how stable this thing is, but I can definitely say it looks absolutely astonishing. Great job, well done. Lego would be stupid not to build this one. However, I'm pretty sure they're not going to build this one because there's no license behind it and anything like that. So I guess that's not really what the Lego Ideas team wants to do. But a tower like this as an icon set would be amazing. Anyhow, then we have a Technic set. Not really my cup of tea, but it seems, and almost like working. I mean, not working as a clock, but it's a mechanical flip clock. I do remember these. However, this was, I mean, I'm built 1979, and I can briefly remember these a little bit, but I think my first night desk clock was already a digital one, if I recall correctly. But anyhow, we have a mechanical flip clock in bricks. Here you go. Like I said, I can't say much about it. It seems it does work with a motor, but of course not like a clock, right? It's just, I guess it will just move through. Just demonstrate the flipping. And then we have an Alpine Refuge, which I do like as well. It's pretty amazing. That's literally how some houses in the Alps look like, especially if you have like a restaurant or something like that. And that is what it actually is, right? You have here your restaurant part, you have a sleeping part so you can stay overnight. They're renting out rooms, and it just looks like vacation. I mean, I just love going to the Alps. It's one of my favorite holiday destinations over here in Europe, next to the Netherlands, and it's just amazing, and it's very well done. You have here the Austrian colors, so I guess it's supposed to be in the Austrian Alps, and it looks beautiful. Very well done. I think should go very well together with the what was it called, the Alpine Lodge or something like that in the Brickling designer program. Not 100% sure, but I think these things will go very well together. Then we have a Wallace and Gromit set. Actually, I can't say much about it. What I can say is that I really love the car. I mean, or the truck. The safe, secure, humane pest control, anti-pesto SWAT team. Amazing. Do like it. Like the characters. I mean, the dog is a minifigure. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that, but on the other hand, it's not easy to do this with bricks. But my personal favorite is the car. Looks really amazing. Very well done. And then we have the Japanese castle. Actually, a modern version. Looks like an old castle where younger people are living in, because if I recall correctly, if you look at the inside, you have like almost... It looks like an almost a modern kitchen, I would say. But yeah, here you go. You have a living room, you have a training room, sleeping room. It is a Chinese castle, and I must say I do like the design. Very well done. Blue roof, I think I would prefer black one. I must say the tree is maybe a bit simple, but this thing has everything that it needs to have. And yeah, very well designed. And with that, we are moving on to the Brickling designer program I just talked about. Actually, that is again in news I wanted to talk about last week, but again, got lost of the link somehow. So Lego or Brickling, the Lego subsidiary, has decided to move on with the Brickling designer program. So let's do a quick recap. I mean, I think the first program a couple of years back was called the AFOL designer program, if I remember correctly. I think that was before the Lego acquisition of Brickling. And then we had under, let's say, Lego Directive, we had the Brickling Designer Program last year, which actually used the same logo as this thing here. The Brickling Designer Program last year, let's do the quick recap. What they did back then was to invite folks who had met the 10,000 supporters with Lego ideas entries, so basically like the entries we just talked about, but never made it into a set. And Lego invited a couple of these folks to, again, give it a try of the Brickling Designer Program. After that, it was kind of crowdfunding approach, i.e. all of these designers, this was sliced into 3 waves, and then in every wave, basically depending on, I think the first 2 sets or something like that, and in every wave, if it had like 3,000 folks backing it, then it became a set, and the first 2 were winning, something like that. That was basically the idea. The point is, the key thing was, compared to the original AFOL designer program, is that this time Brickling/Lego invited a couple of designers. So it was not coming like typical Lego ideas challenges and stuff like that, fully community driven, right? There was the first step was done by the company. So they are now moving back to the pure community approach, and that means everyone, all of you, can participate. And basically starting from December 9th, but you have still time until February, so it's not too late. You can throw in, your hat in the ring and participate. And then basically, then you have the crowd support phase, where basically all Brickling members, and I guess that means you have an account, can vote for the favorite submission. So that is important. And this is what I meant. This is a big difference, that here the community is fully involved. And then the Lego team or the Brickling team, I should use them synonymous at this point in time, will review the shrink down list that was shrinked down by the crowd, and out of that they will then pick what they believe can be a great set, which is cool. Basically they're using the crowd, they're crowdsourcing the selection, but the final call is by them, which I think makes sense, right? They have to look like, what is the brand fit, like I say here, building experience, brand fit. And I think that makes a ton of sense. I'm pretty sure they will take overall the crowd support, how many votes every design got, into account, but they have to look into these other things as well, which makes a ton of sense. And then in May 2023, they will announce the winners. So, and then the crowdfunding will start in February 2024. So I'm personally 1% sure what they will need like 7 months for. I guess this is basically the time where the Lego folks will, make a production grade design out of it. That's what I think. And then the crowdfunding will be February 2024, and then summer, fall 2024, we'll see the actual set. So long story short, this is like a 2-year process, and we will get only 5 sets. By the way, they will make up to 20,000 of these. I think in the previous Brickling designer programs, it was only 10K. And from the beginning, they will have a limit of 2 per household to get all the scalpers out, or at least restrict the freedom that the scalpers have, which is great. They did this previously as well. Long story short, 20,000 this time, only 5 designs overall, and it's a 2-year process. What I personally don't know, if they will basically start this process from now on a fiscal basis, because that is what they talk about. They want to make this a series. They want to repeat this process. What I couldn't read out of this, maybe I just missed it. Please write in the comments if I totally got this wrong. But my apologies. I think they have not announced yet if they want to do this on a yearly basis. So you will have an overlap, if you will, right? Cascading. Or if they do them, 2 years, 5 sets, and then start after that from scratch, which I fear that is what we are going to see. But let's see. Nevertheless, 5 additional sets, great designs, more opportunities for mock designers out there. That is always good to know. So thanks, Lego. And with that, I hope you liked the show. For those of you who watch this on YouTube, please leave a like or a comment, or even better, subscribe to the channel. For you podcast listeners, please leave a review, comment or like on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to the show. Thanks for listening. See you next week.